everyone. Welcome to another episode of Female Empowered. I'm your host, Krista Gurka. I'm so glad to have you joining me again today to listen to me chat, to listen to me ramble, to talk about business things. And today, what we're going to be talking about is a question that I feel is just the wrong question to be asking. So the question that I see a lot, and that I see a lot on Instagram and social, and people ask this in the groups that we're in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's that question, how many hours do you work? And I think that's the wrong question to be asking, because I don't think we're really comparing apples to apples. And so what I am going to talk a little bit about today is why I think that's the wrong question, and ways that you can, and what's really the question behind the question, I would say. Like, what's really the question behind the question when people are asking that question? So there are, there's a few things that bug me about when I see on social media. And there's actually a lot of things that bug me about social media. Like I have to say, I've been trying to learn TikTok because TikTok ads are up and coming, and there's, especially if you have a younger audience that is there, and there's some great reach. And right now the costs per lead, et cetera, is really great. So I'm just trying to learn TikTok. So I will admit that I go down this TikTok rabbit hole where I find myself and I'm like, holy crap, 45 minutes has passed and I've literally watched like 400 videos. But I am amazed at the shit that people put on there. It's like crazy. Personal stuff. I mean, just disgusting stuff. Like, it amazes me, right? So that's one thing. But again, as I get older, there are a lot of things that irritate me. And one of the things that irritates me too about social media is people that have suddenly become experts in something because they've experienced that. So let me give you an example. A person is pregnant, and now suddenly they're an influencer that can give advice on prenatal fitness, postnatal nutrition, because they happen to have a pregnancy, go through a pregnancy, deliver a baby, and now they assume that they're an expert on pre and postnatal fitness. There's a ton of that shit on the interwebs. All right. You go on social media, you go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, and there's all sorts of people pregnant giving advice. And the problem is, your pregnancy is not the same as everyone else's pregnancy. And just because you're pregnant and go to the gym doesn't mean that you're an expert in giving advice for people. Okay. So if you're following some random influencer's advice on TikTok or Instagram, just, know that comes maybe with a grain of salt. Or now people that are suddenly experts because they play tennis. They picked up tennis a couple years ago, and now they're, Pilates for tennis, or they picked up golf and now they're like experts on golf. All right. And the only reason I say golf is because I actually worked on the LPGA tour for a few years as their physical therapist and did very specific training in golf. Now, I suck at golf. I'm probably one of the worst golfers out there, but I can actually help a golfer much better, to be honest, than someone who's probably really good at golfing, because I know the intricacies of like hip mobility and where the muscles need to be engaging, where they don't need to be engaging, et cetera, et cetera. But so the other trend that I really hate on Instagram is where people are comparing themselves to other people and like how they created that business, the business model they chose to go in, or that question of, I work 4 hours a week and I generate 6 figures or 7 figures. There's a lot behind that. So people think, oh, that's what I should strive for, to be able to generate 7 figures with 4 hours. Well, number one, I guarantee you that did not happen from the beginning. I guarantee you that. Nobody generates 7 figures working 4 hours a week from the start. And if you do, if you have created that, please DM me and let me know how you did that. I'm super curious. I hustled my way to $1 million, and I don't advocate for that because it nearly broke me in the process. Now I have a very simplified workforce, but I didn't come out of the box like that. So if you were someone that created a 7-figure income working 4 hours a week from the beginning, I would love to hear from you. I would love to have you on my podcast. I would love to interview you and figure out how you were able to do that. All right. But for the most of us, that's not reality. All right. Even if you think people are overnight successes, there has been tons of work that has gone on behind the scenes, tons of failures, tons of missed opportunities. All right. And so what annoys me is now you have like new business owners or people that are really trying to grow that are like, what am I doing wrong that I'm working 80 hours a week and I'm barely breaking 6 figures? You're not doing anything wrong, sweets. All right. You're not doing anything wrong. You are moving at your own process. So it's why I really hate that question. How many hours do you work? Because I don't think it's apples to apples. And I think all of us have different capacities. So if you've ever read the book, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, I read the book. I really liked the book. It did get a lot of hype, but I think what happened is a lot of people actually took that title very literally. And even Tim says that it's not literally about working 4 hours a week. It's about creating a system, a business that doesn't stress you out and gives you the bandwidth to live the life that you want. It gives you energy to do other stuff. Now, how do we get there? Because I know a lot of you are asking, well, how the hell do I make that happen? Number one, you have to start learning to let go. And you got to get out of your own damn way. Okay. You have to unload things off of your plate. You have to delegate. Okay. You cannot do all of the things and expect to work, and I'm doing this in air quotes, a 4-hour work week. It just doesn't work. The math does not add up. Now, I will admit that I have workaholic tendencies. Okay. I'm an Enneagram 3. I love a personality test. I love a personality assessment. My therapist would probably have a field day with this. What does that say about me? That I'm always trying to learn more about myself and how I can life hack my way through all of these situations. So I love a personality test. I'm an Enneagram 3. I'm an ISTJ. If you do the Myers-Briggs, if you look at my strength finders, I have a ton of executing strengths and influencing strengths. I have unfortunately no relationship building strengths. And if you've ever done the sacred money archetypes, which is called SMA, this is the most recent one that I've actually done. And it was really interesting to me. And if you're interested in finding out where you can take that quiz, DM me over on Instagram at Krista Gurka, and I'll send you a free link. I am a ruler when it comes to money archetypes. So I am a visionary. We are visionaries. We tend to see ways that we can generate income in everything we do. We are like, go, 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 go. We probably have a lot of business ideas and we're always thinking of ways we can monetize things. So we just put our head down and go to work, which leads to like workaholic tendencies. So do Enneagram 3s, because we are very externally validated. All right. I've done a lot of inner work on this kind of stuff and kind of helping me to frame this in ways, because these can become challenges. They can be ways in which we win and we're successful, but they can also become super big challenges in how we lead other people and how we can tend to be seen as aggressive and how the ways that we communicate and support people, we have to be aware of that and how maybe we're leaning in a little too much into our ruler tendencies and we're throwing other people off or making them feel less than, or we're coming in hot and some people can't handle that heat. All right. So sacred money archetypes. If you're interested, DM me at Krista Gurka on Instagram. I'd love to share the quiz with you. Very enlightening. All right. So what I love is I don't love comparisonitis. All right. They say comparison is a thief of joy. And I do believe that. So what I love is I love transparency. I love collaboration. I love authenticity. And I really try to emulate that in my podcast and how I speak with other business people in our coaching programs, in our inner circle, especially. I love being transparent. I love talking about what's worked for me. And I try to be as authentic as possible. It's also like, again, in my ruler tendency, we're just like, this is how it is, right? So that's kind of my communication. So I love collaborating. I love telling it like it is. I don't love comparisonitis because I don't think it's fair. It's not fair for me to compare myself to someone who has been in business for 30 years. It's not necessarily me to compare, right, for me to compare myself to someone who has like an MBA and venture capital. And maybe it's not right for them to compare themselves to me. All I see when I look at other women in business is proof of what's possible. That's what I see. I try not to, and I didn't come out of the box like this. Like I said, I've worked very hard on talking myself off the ledge with this and thinking that because she has more, I have less. I really see it now as proof of what's possible. If that person can get to 8 figures, so can I, if I choose to do that. Okay. If I can get to 7 figures, so can you, if you choose to do that. All right. So when people compare themselves to each other, when women compare themselves to each other, especially when it talks about how many hours do you work, it's the wrong question. I would almost say a better question is, what do you choose to spend your working hours on? Let's even take this down to very much like the instructor level, the therapist level, the technician level in our fitness and wellness businesses. We all have different capacities. And even in my studio at Pilates in the Grove, there are some physical therapists that can see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 evals in a week and be great. Love it. There's other people that do 3 evals in a week and it's very overwhelming for them. And I'm not saying that one is right or wrong. Okay. There are some instructors on our team that can work 7 to 2 straight through without a break. There are some instructors that can teach 4 classes in a row and not have an issue. There's other people that know they need to have a break every 3 sessions. Okay, that's fine. Right? If it works for your business that way, ideal, structure your business around that. When I was seeing a full caseload, I would prefer to work straight through and then have a break at the ends. Okay. The other thing that I have found, and this is a question that I get a lot from business owners that are still in their business being technicians, is how do you structure your time around seeing clients, teaching classes, being with patients, and your business tasks, responsibilities? I have found that it was very difficult for me to task switch. So in other words, if I was in teacher mode, if I was in, I'm teaching classes, I'm working with clients, I'm treating patients, it was very difficult for me to switch my brain into now mentorship role, business role. So what I've done is I personally have separated my days. So on days where I'm in studio treating and teaching, I don't have any business responsibilities on those days. That may work for you, that may not work for you. The other thing that I've done is I've delegated a hell of a lot off my plate. So this podcast, for example, I love talking, right? I love shooting the shit, but I don't want to edit it. So I don't. I don't want to write the show notes for it. So I don't. Okay. And if you have the money to do that, I highly recommend that. And it costs a lot less than you think it does. Because it would take me probably over an hour to edit it because I have no idea what I'm doing, write the show notes, create a social media graphic for it. But I can pay someone on my team, anywhere from $10 to $50 to do that. And I can get an hour worth of my time back, which I charge $250 to work with me. Right. So pay out $50 to get back 250, it's a $200 profit margin. It's pretty good. Okay. So delegating, if you delegate it smart and you learn to structure your day and your business, changes the question of how many hours do you work? to a better question, in my opinion, which is, what do you choose to spend your working hours on? I advise spending 80% of your time, okay, on the tasks that only you can do. All right. The 20% of tasks that move the needle in your business. For me, it's creating content. It's doing this podcast. It's creating content on social media. That's what it is. Okay. In the studio, it's working with my professional athletes, right? That's what moves the needle in the business. So another question could be, instead of how many hours do you work, it could be, how much do you want to work? Well, let me rephrase that. How much do you want to earn, and how much do you want to work for that money? Which is similar to, like, you know, what do you want to spend your working hours on? Now, I will say that, and I've said this before, I've talked about this on the podcast and even to my group, I could earn $250,000 in salary annually if I wanted to. If I saw a full caseload of clients, even not a full caseload, if I saw 20 clients a week, right? In combination of seeing 10 clients and maybe teaching 10 classes, right? Plus took profits from the business, plus did my mentorship, I could earn in salary $250,000 or more. However, that would require a tremendous amount of working hours for me, probably over 50 hours a week. And a lot of me time, like a lot of me dollars for hours, right? Dollars for hours. It would create a lot of trading time for money for me. I am currently happy with my work-life balance. The money that I earn, which is a very good six-figure salary, allows me to live the lifestyle that I want. It allows me to live in the house that I want. It allows me to travel where I want to travel, to purchase the things I want to purchase, right? Okay. My car, I actually don't have a payment on my car. I drive a 2016, I believe, 2015, 2016 Chevy Tahoe. I love it. To me, I don't care to get a new car. Like, that's not something of value to me. What's of value to me is being able to say, I'm going to check out today and go travel to Columbus, Ohio to see my son in college. That's of value to me right now. Now that may change. So if you want to make $1 million, you have to make $1 million worth of value for people. And you can do that in a ton of ways. We can create $1 million of value for people in a variety of ways. How many $10 things do you have to sell? How many $1,000 things do you have to sell? How many $10,000 things do you have to sell? And you should ask yourself, how many hours do I want to work to achieve that $1 million revenue? It can change also throughout your life. There's many people in our business mentorship programs that have younger children. Those times in our lives require a different capacity of us. My children are older. I'll probably be able to start going back into the studio more in a couple of years when my younger son goes off to college. I'll need something to do with my time. Right now, I enjoy spending time with them. Okay. So you have permission to reduce your working hours. You can delegate. You have choices. If you're choosing not to delegate, that's your choice. But you can delegate and offload social media to somebody, offload copywriting, offload creating a newsletter, offload teaching. You don't have to be the only one in your studio or your fitness center or your physical therapy practice that's treating. If you want to, you certainly can. All right. These are all choices. There's no you should be doing, but if you want more freedom, there are certain steps that you will want to take in your business that will give you that freedom. There's no one way anymore to do business. And if anyone tells you, it's again why I really don't love this, here are my 7 exact strategies to get to $1 million. Well, what worked for you to get to $1 million may not work for me, or it may not be what I want to do. All right. I don't love that we call it bro marketing. Like, I don't love that heavy, hard sell all the time. I don't like to do it. I don't like to be on the back end of it, the receiving end of it. I like to create relationships. Okay. I like to show people that it's okay to ask for the sale, and you can do it in a way that aligns with your personality and not feel sleazy about it. But it doesn't have to be always sell, upsell, upsell. It doesn't have to be that way. Okay. There's ways that you can do it, that you can make it feel light for you, that you can make it feel easy for you. Literally, like you're just offering somebody, hey, would you like to try a slice of this pizza that I just made? Yes or no? Okay. So that question of how many hours do I work, it's different. I'm 12 years into my business. I have a team of people that are accountable. Okay. It didn't come out of the box like this. It's been a couple years of just doing the thing and testing things out and sticking with it. That's the other thing. I see a lot of people quitting before the breakthrough. They just change their mind. They feel like, oh, it didn't work. Well, you have to give it some time. Okay. You don't just quit when your kids don't learn how to tie their shoes on the first time. Or imagine if you quit learning how to ride a bike when you fell down the first time. None of us would know how to ride bikes. Okay. So give yourself permission to do things that help you thrive. If that means clocking out at 2:00 in the afternoon, then do that. There aren't any rules anymore. You can create the rules. Creating a business with you in mind. If you know that you don't want to be 100% the business, then start bringing on a team earlier. And they don't have to be full-time. They could start 5 hours a week. They could be remote. They could just help you offload certain things like scheduling people or reaching out if people have fallen off the schedule, or the things that you don't like to do, the things that drain your energy, because that's what really starts to cause burnout. The things that light us up, that we're excited about, we could do those 40, 50 hours a week and we probably wouldn't feel burnt out. So it's important. I'm a big believer in designing a business that fits your life, not someone else's life, your life. And that can change. It might change for me in the next couple of years as my kids move out of the house. It might change for you as your children maybe start going to school full time. Or as maybe you start getting help in the house. Or for any number of reasons. If you don't have children, maybe it's that you start to get a team and you decide you're going to do things a little bit differently. Okay. So instead of asking people, how many hours do you work? Because if I say, and by the way, I work randomly, like I will get ideas taking a shower. I will get ideas when I am walking my dog. Okay. I can return Slack messages when I'm walking my dog. I can return Slack messages or listen to trainings in the car when I'm traveling to and from work. Okay. I can get ideas while I'm sleeping and wake up and like write them down. So do I calculate all those times that I'm working? Not really. So instead of asking, how many hours do you work? How about changing the question to, what do you choose to spend your working hours on? Or how much do I want to work for the money that I want to generate? Surround yourself with people who support and inspire you along that journey as well. And then lastly, like I said before, just get out of your own damn way. Get out of your own damn way. Allow the process to happen. Allow ourselves to fail. If it didn't work, we try again. Tweak it a little bit, right? Failure is an action. It's not an identity. We are not failures. Something we tried didn't work out as we planned. It happens every day. Okay, so that's what I got for you. I would say, let's change that question. Let's stop asking each other, how many hours do you work? Stop feeling bad because you see somebody post something like, oh, I work 5 hours a week and I generate, $50,000 a month. We don't know what that looks like for them. We don't know what that means. We don't know if that $50,000 a month makes them profitable or not. So stop comparing yourself to other people when you don't know the real story behind the story. Okay. The question that you're really asking is not how many hours do you work? It's how do you get everything done in 5 hours? If you really truly only work 5 hours. Okay. So that's the question. How do you choose to spend your working hours? What lights you up the most? What do you add to the room, to the business that nobody else can add, and do more of that? Now, if you want to learn how to figure out what that is and create a plan that is sustainable and how you can do that in your business in 2023, I invite you to check out our Women's CEO Summit that I am hosting not in Miami, it's actually in Palm Beach, Florida, on beautiful Singer Island, beachside, okay? November 3rd and 4th, 2022. So I don't know when people are listening to this podcast, people can listen to it years from now. So it's November 3rd, November 4th, 2022. We're gonna have myself, my team of experts will be there, from content creation, copywriting, financial, CFOs, financial advisors, HR specialists, that are all there to help you create the business that you love, to create the lifestyle that you want. All right. You will leave these 2 days with new friends, a new outlook on your business, and a very sustainable strategic plan for which to follow in 2023 that takes out all the guesswork for you. Okay. And one that you should follow, right? Not one that necessarily I'm going to follow, but one that's unique for you, your unique business, your unique personality, and your unique goals. So I invite you to check it out. You can visit www.kristagurka.com/CEO Summit 2022. We'll link it up in the show notes. Early bird registration closes September 15th. So again, I don't know when this podcast is airing. So if it's past September 15th, you still have you still have time to register. Registration will close October 15th. We have a limited amount of room blocks at this Marriott because it's beachside. All right. And if you have any questions about it, shoot me a DM over on Instagram at Krista Gurka. We're capping it at 20 participants, 20 women, because we want to have, basically it'll be one coach to every 5 participants. Okay, so we want to make it small so that we can have small breakout sessions, and we're really working one-on-one individual with you in small group formats so that we are giving you what it is that you need. You're not going to walk away from this summit, this get together feeling like you didn't get anything. Okay, we include meals in the price, so you get breakfast and lunch every day. You don't have to worry about going out and getting your own food. And so it's an amazing group of women. I hope you will check it out, www.kristagurka.com/CEO Summit 2022. And I hope to see you there. All right, everyone. Bye for now.